What's good, guys? It's your boy sSickened, and in today's video I'm going to be providing you guys with a couple of tips to improve your user in Madden 19. The first tip being, if your user is in a blitzing assignment in the original play, what I like to do is I like to tap A up on the left stick, placing him in either a yellow or a deep blue. Right now he's in a deep blue, so let's say my opponent were to hike the ball and I'm moving between players on my defense and the ball is snapped when I'm on this right outside linebacker right here. Rather than having an additional blitzer leaving open a wide open zone right here, my guy will naturally drop back into a zone, and it's better to have more people in coverage than to have a weird blitzing assignment that might not work and might not get to the quarterback. So like I said, the first tip is just putting him in a deep blue or a yellow. Now the second tip, which is what I like to do every single play, is I like to go back and forth between the linemen right here. This is basically going to pull a lineman out of their specific blocking assignment. So let's say the left guard and left tackle are trying to block this guy right here, or this left tackle and the center are going to team up on this D tackle. By me going like this back and forth, I'm basically confusing the computer and tricking them into thinking that I'm blitzing. This will legit pull a lineman towards me this way, and then he'll drop back. So this might free up a blitzing assignment from this side right here, from this nickel cornerback. Or it might provide an easier blitzing assignment from this side right here if I'm confusing the linemen and I'm making them think that I'm going to be blitzing on this side. So if my user, is just on this side, you can just move between the left tackle and the left guard, left tackle, left guard, left tackle, left guard. You just keep doing that. Like I said, will confuse the computer and make them think that you're blitzing, usually pulling a lineman out of their blocking assignment. And this might get more pressure to the quarterback. I think I've found more success when I do this rather than standing back here and waiting for the ball to be hiked, because linemen can double team a defensive lineman, which will give the quarterback more time in the pocket. Like I said, I just like to move between left tackle, left guard, left tackle, left guard. You guys will see me do that in my live streams if you guys join. You guys can also do it on this right tackle, right guard, right tackle, right guard. You basically just keep doing this back and forth until the ball is snapped, and right when the ball is snapped, you drop back. So the third step is to always jam a receiver at the line of scrimmage. Now, you have three receivers on this side right here. If you were to stand right here in front of this receiver, you can most likely jam 89, Doug Baldwin. Now, let's say he runs a flat route, so he never actually runs into you. I could jam the tight end, or I could jam the B wide receiver. What I like to do is I like to run straight at them and then hit stick them up by hitting up on the right stick. This will cause the DB or your linebacker to stick their hands out and literally press them at the line of scrimmage. So when the ball is snapped, I could literally go like this, back and forth in front of this RB wide receiver or in front of the A1. If he keeps hitting the tight end, or if he keeps hitting this RB wide receiver, or if he keeps hitting B, I just go back and forth in front of him like this, just like I did with the left tackle and the left guard. And I just keep doing this back and forth. The ball is hiked, and I hit up on the right stick, and that will jam them. All right, and my fourth tip is to line up on the opposite side of his number one read. So if he's going to hit B every time on a slant route, I'll line up over here on the left side. If he's going to hit X on a crossing route, I'll line up over here on the right side, and I will show you guys what I do. So I will stand in front of the receiver like so, jam him, hitting up on the right stick, boom. Let's say I jammed him. I get in all of their ways, so he sees that my user, now this is a little tip right here, but it's not step number 4. It is basically if your opponent, or what I see whenever I'm passing the ball, if I see my opponent has a user on the right side, I'm looking to my left side automatically. I'm basically not going to look at the right side until I see his user run across this side. Then I see, oh, the right side is open, because a user can really guard multiple zones and multiple routes if their user is good. So if your opponent or any player that is good really understands how good your user is, they'll most likely do anything to avoid it. So they see that you're on your right side, they're going to be focusing on that X wide receiver, focusing on that left side. So like I said, step number 4, drop back into the throwing lane. I'm not going to run at the wide receiver like this, start doing a trail technique running behind him. I'm going to meet him when he gets open. So if I see that there's a deep third on the left side, I see that there's a deep third in the middle of the field, and I see this seam flat right here. So I basically can guess that my opponent is not going to throw it in this area right here. If he does throw it, that is going to be, something that you're willing to give up because he made a good read. Now, if he doesn't throw it right here and he waits for it to cross, the deep third is covering the if he were to go up the field right here. So you know he's cutting across the entire field. You know he's going to meet you somewhere in this range right over here. This is, like I said, only for Pat Sale, and this is a specific route. It could be even a deep crossing route. You know, that deep crosser that just starts cutting across the entire field when you have deep route running that goes like this and it just goes all the way deep. You can basically use the same exact analysis. So I will line up on the right side of the field, and let's say I assume that he's going to throw it to the X wide receiver. I could be wrong, and he could just hit the flat route out the backfield, and he hits it for a 5-yard gain. Well, that's a win to me because it shows that my opponent is playing very weary, and he's scared to test my user. And that's the whole thing about having a good user. It causes your opponent to make mistakes and to be extremely careful and safe. I would prefer my opponent to be safe and careful, throw 5-yard, 2-yard routes, throw it to the running back out the backfield on a wheel route, rather than to go deep every single play because it hurts getting a 50-yard completion. Anyways, so like I said, let's assume that he's going to throw it to the X wide receiver. I'm going to stand in front of these receivers, and I know he's dropping back. I'm going to slowly creep. If I just ran straight over here right now, right when the ball is snapped, and he's barely at the 50-yard line on this side, my opponent already sees that there's someone here. I'm assuming that my opponent's good, and he's looking at where the receiver is running to. If I just drop back right away, he's going to automatically see. Let's say the ball is snapped, boom, I just drop back right away. He's going to see that I'm right here in the zone, and he's not going to throw it. He's going to start looking at A, he's going to look at RB, he's going to look at B. So what I want to do is I want to stay right here for as long as I can and slowly creep up the field as the ball is in play. I want to slowly creep up, and then at the last second, I want to jump it like that. So let's say the ball is about to be hiked. It's 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. The ball is hiked. Boom, boom, boom. I jam these guys right here. The X wide receiver is cutting to the 50-yard line, and he's cutting right underneath Cam Chancellor, and he's cutting towards the right sideline. Like I said, I'm going like this, standing right here, kind of tricking my opponent. Boom, 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 and then I just gun it towards the sideline right here. And I want to always be underneath the route. Never run straight backwards like this, letting the route get underneath you, and then you're running over the top of it like this. No. The best way to get a user interception is to, like I said, stay underneath. So boom, 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 I'm jamming him, I'm jamming him, I'm jamming him. I'm trying to stay underneath. Get him confused with these players right here. You want to use these guys basically as shields. You want to use them as protection. You want to stand near them. You want him to think that you're a computer. You don't want him to see your user. If he sees a guy, like I said, dropping back here, he automatically knows that's your user. So you basically want to stay like you're in a zone. Like you're not smart enough to guard the crossing route. And then at the last second, boom, you just want to run towards underneath it, stay underneath it, and then boom, it'll be an interception every time. The fifth step is to not hold Y every single time. You want to refrain from holding Y until the last second. Let's say I'm right here at the 45. I'm dropping back. The dude is now running above me. I'm 10 yards away from where the ball is about to be thrown. And the ball is thrown. I'm staying underneath. This is where the ball is going to land right here. This is when I want to start holding Y. Right here. You want to do it about 5 yards. You want to refrain from doing it 10 yards. If you do it from 10 yards, for sure 15 yards, but possibly 10. Sometimes you might get lucky if you have pick specialists or hot hands. But 5 yards is the ideal range that you want to start holding Y. That's to get the interception and also to initiate ball hawk. Ball hawk draws your user towards the ball so you can get an interception, and it also causes your defender to stick out his hands and grab the ball like he's a wide receiver. That's also the aggressive catch on offense. So like I said, if the ball's at the 40-yard line, right, or if the ball's going to be thrown to the 40-yard line right here, and I'm dropping back, do I do it right here at the 45? No. So I don't want to start doing it right here if my opponent's going to be catching it over here. I don't do it at the 45. I don't do it right here. I don't do it at the 50. That's 10 yards. I do it right here at the 45. You always want to be within 5 yards. Now, let's say you've ran over the top of your receiver. You're guarding something on the left side. You're running down. You don't want to do it right here at the 30-yard line. We're still going to say that the ball's going to meet me at the 40. You don't want to do it right here over here at the 25. That's not going to get the interception. You want to do it right here at the 35-yard line because he's going to be catching it right here. This will basically give you a higher percentage when you catch the ball. I don't know if you guys have ever dropped the ball when you go for an interception, but that's because you most likely held it around the 10-yard distance to where the ball was actually about to be landing. You want to do it right here, 5 yards, either at that 35-yard line or this 45-yard line. And if you hold Y at the right time, boom, you will catch the interception every single time. So step number 6 is how to bait a flat route. What I like to do is I like to put cloud flats on the right and the left side of the field. So rather than them running towards, any route underneath, they're going to kind of drop back a little bit. Now, it is going to be my responsibility to guard the flat route or to give it up. If you move at top speed and you run over here, he's not going to throw it. If you barely move like this, barely moving your left stick, you're barely moving it, and then you gun it at the last second, you can cut off that route. You hold Y at the right time, you get the interception. So let's say he had a flat route. I'm barely moving, and then I gun it down. I make him think that I'm going to drop back 5 to 10 yards. I'm dropping back, or I'm moving, and then I gun it down. That's basically going to trick him into thinking, because you throw a flat route within 1 or 2 seconds whenever the ball is tight. So I barely move, and then I gun it down. That is going to get an interception every single time. That's on the right side of the field. So hopefully you guys understand that. You barely move with your left stick, no acceleration, move it, and then you gun it down the field and you intercept it right there. I like to stand behind this right end right here. If he's moving a little bit too fast, you can stand behind that D tackle, boom, 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 and then you gun it down the field, you cut it off, you intercept it right there. Now let's say he's hitting a wheel route, the same thing on this side. I'm going to stand right here at the D tackle, barely move, and then I gun it down, boom, intercept the wheel route right there. Let me show that one more time. Barely move with the left stick, barely, and then I gun it down at the last second, cut off the wheel route. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This video was basically breaking down some of the most simple controls of how I user in Madden 19. Like I said, if you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like. If you guys did not like this video, drop a dislike. But I will be seeing you guys next time. I'm out of here. Peace.